Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Tonight I'm going to be doing a family favorite that I do sometime, and that's going to be shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie is not a real lengthy thing to prepare or dish to prepare, but there is a lot of steps to it. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first part, then I'll come back with the second part. Here I have ground beef, and this is 10 pounds of ground beef, and a lot of times I buy it from a meat warehouse. So as you can see, I just cut it in half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 5 pounds of the ground beef into the skillet because it needs to brown as if you would brown it for cooking, like when you're cooking your chili or you're making your spaghetti or something of that nature. So I already had my stove preheating. I had this part preheating on medium. So I'm just going to get this ground up, or rather get this all mixed up so that I can prepare the dish. Now, I want you to take a look at the other side of the stove. On that side while I wash my hands. In the back, I have my potatoes that are already starting to boil. I've cubed them for the mashed potato topping that goes over your shepherd's pie. In the front, I'm melting 1 stick of butter. To that, I'm going to add minced garlic that I hand minced, because I'm going to show you when I make these mashed potatoes, because they're going to be just a little bit different than from your regular mashed potatoes. So what I'm doing in the front is I'm just heating the butter along with the minced garlic. Now I'm going to add 1 can of carnation milk, because I told you carnation velvetizes, but I'm not going to add that right now. I'm going to wait for a minute until I'm ready to actually mash my mashed potatoes, which are already cooking in the back. Now I'm also going to add to this just a little bit of chicken broth, and that chicken broth is what I had made left over last week when I made the chicken and dumplings. I told you that I cube it and then I put it in ice trays, put it in the freezer, and then I use it, and that's just going to give my mashed potatoes just a little bit more flavor. Now, back to this pot or this pan. Over here, this is going to take me a minute to brown it up, but when I get it just halfway brown, before it completes the process, I'm going to add to that 1 cup of beef bouillon. This is by Swanson. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of powdered garlic. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of rosemary, and this is dried rosemary. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, but you can use tomato paste or you can use ketchup. It really doesn't matter. Ketchup preferably, because it has a little bit sweeter taste to it, so that'll kind of complement the shepherd's pie. And to that, I'm going to add 1 onion that I have already chopped up. Now, and salt and pepper to taste, of course. Now I'm going to go away and get this all done, and when I finish getting this done, I'm going to come back and show you the other part of the process. Okay, now I'm back, and I just want to show you it's partially cooked. As you can see, you still see some red in it, but that's okay. The rest of the way, it's rendered off fat, and it wasn't a lot that was over in here, so not a lot that you're going to get out. So what I'm going to do now is just add my 1 chopped onion to this, and to that I'm going to add my garlic powder, to that my rosemary, and rosemary has a very good flavor to dishes that you make, especially when it comes to cooking your lamb and cooking your beef. Rosemary just really, it just takes the flavor, the seasonings to a whole nother level. So I've added that. My 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. My 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And like I told you, you can use ketchup. And another thing, you don't have to make your mashed potatoes. I'm just gonna make mine. Potatoes happen to be on sale this week, so hey, I bought 15 pounds for $3. I don't think you can beat that. I can use them in this dish and then turn around and bake them with some steaks. Double load them. I'm going to show you also how to double load a potato. Okay, to that I'm going to add 1 cup of beef broth. Okay, because I have so much ground beef, I might take that up just a little bit. Okay, that looks like probably about 1.5 cups of liquids. Okay, now I'm going to add to this, once it has cooked a little bit more, my mixed vegetables. And I have 2 packs of mixed vegetables. Some people don't incorporate it. Some people just layer it. They'll put in the ground beef and then they'll put the layer of vegetables. But I'm going to put it all, mix it all in together, because when the potatoes go over the top, I want you to pick up the vegetables with every scoop that you make. Every forkful, I want it to be vegetables, meat, and potatoes. So I'm going to add mine, and then I'm going to come back. Now, the potatoes are still over here cooking. It's going to take a minute. So I won't come back until the potatoes have finished so I can show you how to mash them. And you see my butter is on low. And it still has not turned brown. I don't want that. All I want is for my butter to stay the pure color that it is, where it's melted, just the first start of being melted with the garlic. And I will add the milk to that momentarily. Okay, so I'll get back to you when we move to the next process. Okay, I'm back and I'm getting ready to do the mashed potatoes, and this is the part that I really wanted to show you. Here, I'm just going to add salt. As you can see the smoke still coming up from the mashed potatoes, or from the potatoes, as I've already cubed them. Take them off the stove, cube them, and then strain them, all of the water out. I'm going to add to this some cheese. This is the part that I really wanted you to see. And this is triple cheese by Kraft. So it's just 3 types of cheddar cheese. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of the liquids in, which this is just the milk. I told you I was going to pour the milk, I was going to put the milk in so it could be getting warm as well, in with the butter and the garlic that I put in. And I'm going to start to mash. Now that cheese that's in there, it's going to melt right down with the potatoes. And it does not take, man, this has a good smell. That aroma coming up from these potatoes is awesome. And it doesn't take that long to get them all mashed up. As you can see, they're done. And that's because you let your potatoes get as soft as you can so that you won't have to apply so much pressure when it comes to mashing up your potatoes. I'm going to add a little bit more of the milk because I did, want to use it all. These are Yukon Gold potatoes, and they have that real buttery look to them. I'm going to still add the rest of this milk. This was 1 can. Carnation, mixed it with the minced garlic and mixed it up with the carnation milk. These are really creamy. And that looks real good. Now I'm going to taste this to make certain before I put it over my shepherd's pie. That's good. But it needs just a little bit more salt. All right, now move this back. Those potatoes are really good. And here is the start of my shepherd's pie. The only thing that I did was I took all of the ingredients. I told you that I was going to mix my vegetables inside with the meat, and I did that, and I just layered it in this pan. Now you don't have to cook as much, but you all know somebody's always popping through my door, so I have just a little bit more than I would normally actually have for my dinner. But what I will do with this is you can always save it, you can always freeze it if you don't eat it all. So let's get started. After you put your vegetables and you put your meat in, then you're going to do a layer of potatoes over the top. Why am I using a scoop? Because it's easier for me, because you have to fork spread it. And what you're doing when you spread it with the fork is you're just helping or assisting the crust process. This is going to go in the oven at 375 degrees for roughly about 30-35 minutes. Because you have to put this all over the top. What you don't want is, and that was one of the reasons why I just made my potatoes just a little bit juicier than I would have. You don't want don't want to go to spread it and then your meat start coming up underneath it. You don't want that. Now, you don't have to use a scoop. I do. I believe in working smarter and not harder. And anything that will get me in the kitchen and get me out and taste good, and I don't have to put in a whole lot of manual labor, I'm for it. And that's just keeping it real. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit more down in there. And I'm going to step away for a minute, get my spatula, and I'll be right back. Because, see, I want to get all these potatoes out. I don't believe in throwing away nothing if I can help it. And to me, now that I have this spatula, looks like another scoop to me. All right, now we're going to spread. I love shepherd's pie. Don't make it often. It's not really a hard dish to make. It's very simple once you get your ground beef done, because the vegetables, I didn't cook them. I just put them in, mixed them in with the ground beef, because the vegetables will actually cook off once they are in the oven. Now, as you can see, I've covered that. Okay? Let me just get a sponge real quick. I'm gonna clean up my mess. Just real quick. Okay, now I'm gonna take my fork. Okay, just gonna go down. Now some people do it this backwards or forward, don't really matter. Just do it. And what is this doing? This is helping to crust the top. And this is just a little bit of my potato. Sometimes I do use my holes in my potato. So, but if you don't do it this way by trying to put your, trying to cover everything, making certain that you cover it, you're going to get a lot of your ground beef. You're going to find that your ground beef is going to stick to your potatoes, and then it's going to come up. And that you don't want. Now, some people like cheese. Some people don't like a lot of cheese. And I'm one that really don't like a lot of cheese on my food. So I'm going to take, this is triple cheese by Kraft. And I'm going to cheese up one side.
Ornaments are not for decorating.
And I'm not going to cheese up the other. Now the cheese that I put in the mashed potatoes, you won't taste that. Not at all. Because it wasn't enough to taste. Now, that's completed. That's shepherd's pie. So I'm going to take it, bake it off in the oven again, like I said, at 375. And I'm going to do it for maybe 30-35 minutes. And I'll show you the finished product when we get back. But this is a one-pan dish. You got your vegetables, you have your meat, and you have your potatoes. So I'll get back in a minute. Okay, we're back. The shepherd's pie is out of the oven, and I just wanted to show it to you. But before I show you that, I'm going to show you something else. I don't know if you remember this, but I froze the dinner rolls from Thanksgiving. And I wanted to show you this one because this is what I made the bread out of to go with the shepherd's pie. This is one of the rolls, and I just want to show you, even though it's not able to stand up on its own, I'm going to smash it down. See how it comes back up? Comes right back up, and it is still very fresh. This is the dinner roll from my Thanksgiving table. All I did was freeze it in my freezer. Then when I took it out, I cut them, and it's very moist. I mean, it's very moist. See how moist it is on the inside? I just cut them in half. That's it here. I cut them in half, put some butter down on them, and put some parsley flakes on this side. Then on this side, I just put the shredded cheese, which was the same as what I had in the shepherd's pie. Here is the shepherd's pie. Okay? Now, the shepherd's pie, as you can see, you got this part that has your cheese on it. Has this part that's without the cheese, and I eat the part without the cheese. So I'm going to dish up some for you. Oh, here, I have a plate here. And this, it has nothing in it to hold it together. The cheese that I put in, as you know, I put it on top. So it's nothing to hold it, and you're not looking for it to hold and layer like your lasagna would. You're looking for it to be complete. So I'm just going to go through this. I don't know why I chose this to go through with it, because all it takes is just a spatula. Okay, so we're going to take that spatula, and we're going to take some out, and we're going to put it, it's very hot, because I should have even waited, and I didn't, okay? We're just going to put it down on the plate. And I'm going to add to the plate three of these rolls. Okay. And you know how I am about stuff all over the stove and stuff. But I just want you to see, this is your shepherd's pie. Now in your shepherd's pie, even though I don't have a fork here, you have your ground beef, You have your mixed vegetables. You have your potatoes on top. And you have the dinner rolls that was left from Thanksgiving. You can add a salad to this. This would be like your favorite meal, and you're done with it. That is a complete dinner. All right, that's what we have tonight. Shepherd's pie. And as always, I would like to thank you for watching Chris Cook for YouTube. Okay, this is what I baked it in. This is what is left. It's after dinner. This shepherd's pie was really very, very good. All of the leftover bread from Thanksgiving is now gone, and now we're down to this for the shepherd's pie. I can put this in the freezer and have it for another day, but we started out here, we ended up here, so it was really good. You all have a good evening. Bye.